People, deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Arsenal fans, I hope there's an extra spring in your step. Obviously, after we got back to victory, got back to winning ways yesterday against Newcastle, and obviously when you consider beating Chelsea, beating West Brom, beating Brighton, dropping points, but drawing with Crystal Palace, and obviously winning, I can't complain. I think we've got 5 clean sheets on a roll now. We keep our unbeaten run. I wanted 6 points from our last 2 games. I'm disappointed I didn't get that, but I got 4 points. It could have been better. It could have been worse as an Arsenal fan. And what can I say? At home, my biggest pet peeve this season, beyond the obvious, has been at home we haven't put in good performances. Yesterday, 3 goals scored at home. We haven't, typically we ain't been firing on all cylinders. So we got 3 goals, a brace for our captain Aubameyang. Obviously, he's found it difficult. We kept a clean sheet. We got 3 points. We had a convincing performance, in large part, and more so the second half. And in a positive way, everybody played well. But also, you can't pick, for me, a man of the match. Like probably it's Cedric for me. Saying that, you could turn around and say Aubameyang, Xhaka and Thomas Partey for me did very well. Also, obviously, Aubameyang's got a brace. Saka and Smith Rowe did what they needed to do. And there's probably a whole host of names. Tierney was good and showed us what we missed against Palace as well. Now, for me, I'm happy. Like I said, it's 3 points. We're going into a difficult run. FA Cup business on Sunday, which I want to play well in. But we could be playing Southampton. It could be Shrewsbury. But I'm sure we've got to play Southampton across those 2 competitions twice. We've got the likes of Leicester, Aston Villa, Wolves, Man United at the end of this month as well, who are top of the table. We've got some tough games, so we do need to win games like this against Newcastle, with all due respect. Games like Newcastle, games like Brighton, games like West Bromwich Albion, take nothing away from those victories, but we should be maximising our points. Now, for me, when I look at that game again, for me, I'm happy with our performance. We weren't troubled. We played convincing. We got 3 goals. People played well. I still think there's a lot of things we need to work on. The first thing is obviously, we ended the game well, and from the minute 1 of the second half, we were on fire. But can we start games like that? Can we start games like that? Can we smell blood and kill the game? Imagine how good it would be to go into halftime 3-0 up versus 0-0 at halftime. And sometimes we ride our luck in these games, because I'm not trying to water it down. It was a fantastic result against Newcastle, but how many times have we sat here and we played in that exact same way, but we've been 1-0 down at halftime, the game is 1-1, and we say, if we didn't do this, how many times have we lost, but there's been a fight back? And equally, how many times have we won? It's almost luck of the lottery. Now, for me, when I watched the game again, looking at it, we were fantastic in that second half. We started to show a bit more quality in the final third, but I still think the problem is there in that we can't break down low blocks consistently. Partey shown what he can do, Smith Rowe shown what he can do, but we probably need one more midfielder and collectively throughout the team, because when you go and watch the second half again, again, we were fantastic, but was it because we was fantastic? I believe that on one hand, or was it because the game opened up? Newcastle stopped doing, a traditional, flat 4-4-2-2 banks of 4. They started to go forward, and we picked apart them. At least 2 of those goals, off the top of my head, came on the attacking transition, on the counter attack. Definitely for Smith Rowe, where he set up Saka. Definitely for Aubameyang. They've all come from that right back. Really, 2 of the goals have come from that right back. The third goal is Kieran Clark being stupid, but those goals came because it's opened up. We still need to learn how to play against a low block. 9 times out of 10, that's how teams are going to set up. So first half, I think there was, more of a disciplined performance from Newcastle. They tried to attack, and we picked apart their holes, people, really and truly. Looking at it, first half, my notes are in front of me. Like I said, we couldn't break down that low block. I think we was forcing Smith Rowe to drop deep a bit too much, like you saw in the second half. When he's in these half spaces on the left, centrally, and on the right, he picks people apart. Saka the same. Tierney, I felt we're not hitting him with quality passes. I feel we need to give more on the left-hand side. Aubameyang's doing all right. Obviously, Aubameyang probably had our best chance of the first half, 14th minute. Personally, watching the game again, I think he could have done better with that chance, but I think he's harsh. That was probably our best chance. I think we could have given Tierney better quality passes, because sometimes they're overhit, sometimes they're underhit, and he's had to break his stride. And I think we could have got him involved a bit more, but Newcastle proved a stubborn outlet. And I think first half was very much the case against Crystal Palace and in the FA Cup game against Newcastle, in the sense of, we're having high quality possession, we're having a lot of corners, but you can't really confuse that with dominance. The game game is in their own half, but we need to build upon that and score, because sometimes teams will have one chance and go and hurt us. We knew what to expect, people. You know, we spent a long time in their half, and I'm just thinking, can we move the ball a bit quicker? Can someone make that third man run a bit quicker, sort of thing? We needed a bit more for me in terms of, I think games like this, you know, Smith Rowe's good. Partey's good. Obviously, Xhaka is a good player, but he probably shouldn't be the partner for Partey. I think we need centre midfielders who are going to get and look to break the lines consistently a bit more, and the rest of the team needs to do a bit more, because we're playing against low blocks nine times out of 10. When we play the occasional top 6 game, things might change. We'll play a Leeds or something where they'll come at us. But 9 times out of 10, we're going to play a low block. We played a low block against West Brom. We cut them open. We did it. Brighton tried to do it. We cut them open. We struggled to do it against Crystal Palace, and we slaughtered in the second half Newcastle. You know, that's one thing I'll give us. It was there was a wounded lamb. Like I said in my live stream yesterday, if there's a wounded animal in the wild, do you think lions play around with it? They quickly savage it up and eat their dinner. That's what we need to do. Like I said, for me, people, really and truly, we had one shot on target in 27 minutes, or one quality effort 20 minutes into the game for me, which was, you know, Saka and Smith Rowe linking up and Aubameyang not getting anything on it, really and truly. And that's another thing, like with Guita against Crystal Palace, can we look to work the keeper a bit more, because he didn't have to make too many saves. Second half, as I said, we came out a bit stronger and we did things. But to paint the picture with the tactical analysis, people, you know, second half, first half, this is what we had to play against. And if I exaggerate it a bit, obviously it's not the same size as a football field, but this is what Newcastle were aiming for. 4-4-2, 2 banks of 4. You know, even at a time, before I forget, Andy Carroll was crossing the ball. You know, this tells you they're just trying to ride their luck. You know, they're playing for a point, and if the chance presents, they're going to go about it. I think Steve Bruce wanted a bit more attacking intent, but they didn't have it there. You know, I can't really think of an opportunity Newcastle really had, but this is where we've got to probably do a bit more. Like you saw, Lacazette was there and he drops deep. Aubameyang became very narrow very early on because we knew what time it was. You had Tierney, you know, you had Saka there. Obviously, Smith Rowe is on the half turn. You saw Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe is in these little pockets. First half, I think you had him here too much. And it's a bit like when we play against low blocks and we struggle to create, you know, we need to, if I'm the opposition and their creative midfielder is there, I'm laughing, people. If the winger, like we've seen with Pepe and Saka, sometimes they're having to receive it on the halfway line. So they're going to struggle in that regards, people. But yeah, this was our average shape. You had Tierney, you had Saka, you had Cedric, you know, you had Smith Rowe linking up as well. Our centre halves are basically on the edge of their, like, well, our centre midfielders in Xhaka and Partey are in their half. You have our centre halves playing a high line. And we need to learn how to break these units down. That's where you need your midfielders to have a bit more quality. That's where you need a bit more movement from the front 4. That's where you need a bit more quality generally throughout the team, because we struggled to break them down. We had a lot of crosses, we had a lot of possession, but we couldn't ultimately get the goal in the first half. And that's because we was playing against a low block, in my opinion. And it's no coincidence that, obviously, give me a second, people, one day we'll have an interactive board, or I hope to have one. But right now, you have to give DG physical time to obviously physically put the team back. But I think when you look at it, like I said, to paint the picture now, people, first half, I've already showed you it, but to highlight it again once more, they were more like that. They were more like that. Second half, they came out a bit more, you know, they had more of a goal. So did we. We started stronger in the second half. Lacazette had a shot early on and we scored in the 50th odd minute. So we started strong, but you saw them in our half a bit more, and we were able to take advantage of their indiscipline and simply put the gaps in their team, people, in my humble opinion. Like you saw, you know, they're pressing, they're in our half now, they're having more of a goal, you know, apologies. They're coming higher up the field, and we were able to take that to our advantage, people. The first goal is against the run of play, people. If you remember, it's actually is it Cruyff? I can't say Donny's name, but I thought first time round he had a good game for them, people, and I still think that. I think he was one of their best players. But 2 goals have come from his side, people. The first one, you know, they against the run of play, he's tried to cross it, ain't banged. Cedric, who's having a good game, people. To paint the picture, Cedric, who's having a good game, a cross comes in Cedric deals with it here. You know, he distributes it to Lacazette. Lacazette gives it to Partey. Partey's already clocked Aubameyang's run, and he's played it into Aubameyang. Now, Aubameyang, again, not to scale, he's 1v1, and you can't afford your players to get 1v1. Aubameyang shouldn't be left 1v1. It comes from his cross, but on the transition, they're poor. And Aubameyang was in this instance in the first half a couple of times and let himself down. Obviously, you know how the script went. He obviously put it into the back of the net, people. Obviously, our second goal, more or less the same old circumstances through different reasons, people. Through absolute different reasons. Like I said, I feel Cray was having a good game. I think Newcastle at Cruyff was having a good game for them, but he let them down. I feel, you know, Newcastle were playing with fire, letting Aubameyang go 1v1 versus a player. And again, it was more of the same, you know, laterally. And I said it in my live stream, and you guys already know, when you go 1-0 up against teams like this, you can get more, because again, their plan is to be solid and not concede. So the minute they concede, they have to change up their plan. It's like a boxing match. A boxer might think, let me bob and weave. Maybe their opponent's too fast. Bob and weaving ain't a thing. So you might have to just say, you know what, it's a slugfest. It's a Ricky Hatton thing. Let's fight back. You know, football and boxing are different, but the psychological is the same thing, people. So again, we're forcing them to come out. Once again, you know, Steve Bruce, he was given the fighting talk and the rallying cry, so they're going to pull forward, and we capitalize. Like I said, in the second half, we're having more opportunities, we're shooting more, we're having more possession, but we're capitalizing on Newcastle's mistakes. And again, I think we're playing well, but if you watch the game again, the game has become open. This is why we've taken advantage. So for us, we need to learn how to actually find a man with our corners and break down a low block. The second goal is more or less identical. You know, Cruyff is trying to get his team up the field. He's advanced forward and he's put in a cross. It's ended up with Leno, people, you know, and it's gone from, again, I actually need to look at my notes, but I remember Leno's got it, you know, Leno is giving it to, Leno's eventually giving it to Partey. Partey's on the right-hand side. He's giving it to Partey, who's found Smith Rowe. Now, Smith Rowe is gone, and this is where you want to see it with Smith Rowe. The game is opening up. We're playing forward passes. Smith Rowe don't have to receive it in stupid positions. He, you know, you see what he does typically game in, game out on that right-hand side when he links up with Saka or Lacazette if they're around and creates triangles and the rest of it, people. But this is where you need Smith Rowe. He's a 10. You need him to drop deep sometimes, but you need him to have the freedom to float between these pockets, and he's done exactly that. Partey's eventually played him. Obviously, I feel sorry for Lascelles. There's nothing he can do, really. I think Lascelles is doing well not to commit. Smith Rowe, again, this is where he needs to take his game up to the next level. Can he find the man? It's good play from him. And again, we've clearly worked on it in training. He knows if I cut it back, somebody's going to, not to scale, but someone's going to be there. And Saka and Smith Rowe, who were involved in the first half for Aubameyang's chance, Saka just, you know, Saka gets his goal, well-deserved, people. And that makes it two. Like I said, the game is opening up and we're able to take advantage of things that much more. You know, the third goal, again, I can't lie, I thought it was out. Watching the game again, the whole ball isn't out. But admittedly, I would be very angry if that was given against Arsenal. Cedric's done very well, you know. Cedric obviously got an assist as well, but forget the assist. I think he had an all-good performance. Not to scale once again, people. Once again, not to scale, but Lacazette was in the box. Aubameyang was in the box. Now, you remember, they're trying to clear their lines, people. Kieran Clark's made an absolute mess of it. And between Bukayo Saka and Cedric, they've retrieved possession. Obviously, Cedric is now here. He slightly overran it. We can talk about, is it off, isn't it off, and all of these sort of things. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd go, if that happened against us, I'd go mad. It is what it is in that regards, people. Lacazette's there, but for me, it's stupid defending from Newcastle. Again, Aubameyang in form or out of form. If you look around, like for the second goal, if Aubameyang's able to run in space and he's 1v1, he's able to isolate a defender 1v1 form or not, you've done something wrong. And for me, it's a bit like Jamie Vardy at Leicester, where Mustafi and I think Bellerin let Jamie Vardy go. I find it a pet peeve when I see teams, you've got one of the most potent strikers in the Premier League. If you turn around and you can't see him, you're in problems. And obviously, Kieran Clark's messed up. Shout out to Bukayo Saka and Suarez for keeping it alive, people. Suarez especially. Lacazette's in the box. But Aubameyang isn't picked up, and he taps home and he grabs his brace. So for me, it was exciting. I was happy to see how we played in the second half, but I think it was smart. You know, we capitalized on some sort of confidence from Steve Bruce, because again, they need to win. They need to put in a performance. It was 0-0 at halftime. Maybe he wanted more of a go at things beyond the obvious, and we were able to pick them apart tactically. If I look back at it, the first half, we need to work on breaking low blocks down, actually doing something with a lot of possession. You know, the teams are keeping their flat back four. Their two banks of four, they're flat 4-4-2. Can we work on ways of breaking that down, whether it's down to movement, whether it's trying those difficult passes? It is what it is. That's what we need to do to go to the next level. But as I said, I'm not going to complain. 3 goals, 3-0. Clean sheet, a good performance at home, where at times we've embarrassed ourselves at home this season. Aubameyang got a brace, good collective team performance, but for a number of reasons, a number of individuals can be highlighted, people. So I can't really complain. To circle back once again, because we've spoken from a tactical point of view, people, just to circle back one more time so you lot can see what I was physically thinking of the time and whatnot. But my ending thoughts, better performance at home, extend the unbeaten run. As I said, good individual performances, 3 goals, 3 points. Individual shun as well. The Cedrics, the Smith Rowes, the Sakas, the Xhakas, the Sakas, the Aubameyangs, the Smith Rowes, the Thomas Parteys, etc. On top of a collective good performance. And again, the challenge is, can we continue this form? Can we try to get into double figures for goals, people? Because we are quite struggling. Games like that, like against West Brom, can we help our goal difference out a bit? Can we learn to be more of a problem from set pieces? I know statistically we're quite good, but for me, I don't feel we're a threat from corners. I think we barely find a man with our corners. So this is what I wanted to see, and apologies for the spelling mistake, people. And again, we've got to do better against low blocks. We did do better in the second half because we upped it, but also a part of it, I can't lie, looking at it without emotion, if Newcastle stayed in their game plan and didn't try to come at us, would we have picked apart that space that became open for our players to exploit? Statistically, as you can see here, Emil Smith-Rowe has assisted 3 of Bukayo Saka's Premier League goals. They are the first English duo to combine for as many as 3 goals before either player has turned 21. So Hayland is leading the way, and it's the future, man. We've got Bukayo Saka, our number 7, and we've got Croydon's Kevin De Bruyne, and hopefully a couple of more players can join them. Obviously, Arsenal have kept a 5th consecutive clean sheet in all competitions for the first time since April 2009, where that was only 6. Again, Bukayo Saka has a long way to definitely, do some of what Anelka's done in the game, and also Cesc Fabregas. And whatnot, but he's in good company. Only Anelka, Cesc Fabregas, and Theo Walcott, as you can see, have been involved in more Premier League goals for Arsenal as a teenager than Bukayo Saka. And I'd even give him more praise because he's played a huge portion of these games. He's played at fullback as well. Them and they are all attackers. Theo's a striker, a winger. We all know Anelka's a centre forward, and Cesc Fabregas is more of a glamorous midfielder. So Saka, I think he's done well to be amongst them. More Smith Rowe propaganda, as you can see, courtesy of the Twitter account Obino. He works for Opta. Check him out, people. I always do the most when it comes to Hayland propaganda. And as you can see, Smith Rowe has either scored or assisted in 7 of his 10 appearances for Arsenal in all competitions, while the Englishman has provided 2 more assists than any other player for Arsenal this campaign. Since he made his first start against Chelsea, only Bruno Fernandes with 12 has created more from open play than Smith Rowe, which again sings his praises. Smith Rowe created a game high of 4 chances in the game against Newcastle, including an assist for Bukayo Saka. So this guy is the creative man. I don't think he's ready for the 10 shirt yet, but come the end of the season, we might have to talk. I still think we need an 8.5 because, to see this way, Xhaka played well. Shout out to Xhaka, but I just feel with the way Smith Rowe is, with the way Partey is, if we can get a partner next to Partey, so that Smith Rowe doesn't have to drop deep, we'd have a good thing. And for me, I don't really, I think Smith Rowe is going to be that 10 and he can be an 8.5. I more want an 8.5, someone that is box to box, that can create as well as obviously helping us out, versus a traditional 10. Personally, I'll be happy with either one. Definitely with the departure of Mesut Ozil and just needing one anyways. Hopefully we can get that done, and this is what we need from Smith Rowe. I still think he needs to be a bit sharper in some incidences, but this is what we need to see. You're here to create chances, you're here to get goals and assists, and so far since he's been back in the team, he still needs to improve at that. But 9 times out of 10, when a crime has been committed, he's not far from the crime scene, and that's what we need. And this is fantastic as well for the young man. He's either scored or assisted a goal in 101 minutes this season in all competitions. And for me, another thing, Happy to see Smith Rowe has been able to stay fit as well. Hopefully that's the case. Again, I think this is about 16 games, people, but this is our record when he's been named in the starting lineup. 3 wins, a draw, then 4 wins, then 2 draws, then 4 wins, then a draw, then a win. So he's undefeated. I remember Mustafi had a stat like that as well. So I don't want to read too much into statistics. Shout out to Granit Xhaka, because if Partey did it, and Partey deserves his praise, if Partey did this, people would be, gassing it up. But he won the ball back a game high of 15 times last night. You've got to hail up Xhaka for that. Normally we get onto him for that, but he done well. Shout out to Aubameyang for getting back to goal scoring ways. As you can see, he has scored as many goals last night as he managed in his last 14 appearances. We all know since he made his debut, only 2 men have outscored him. But, that's 5 very good players, Premier League players. We all know Aubameyang loves playing against Newcastle. He scored in the FA Cup. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has either scored or assisted in 6 of his 7 games against the Magpies in all competitions, and he's found the net in each of his last 4 against such people. So again, he's on the rise. Thomas Partey, forget Thomas Partey's assist and whatnot and the build-up. He was involved in 2 of those 3 goals. But even before we even scored in the first half, he was playing those passes, and Arsenal fans have been starved because on one hand, midfielder playing balls over the top, it should be a given, but Thomas Partey is a quality player, and he's still not fully fit. He only got 66 minutes. Keen to see what he has. I want to see us buy another 6, like a number 6, because if Partey isn't there, we're back to square one in terms of what he's primarily in the team to do, win the ball back for us. Everything else, like you see, Partey's got quality on the ball, is a bonus, but fundamentally he's there to win us the ball, be that box-to-box composing presence that we haven't had. Once again, getting assists and things like that are a bonus, but I want someone who can do what Partey has been doing in terms of the passing you saw, but that's their speciality, and it's just a bonus for Partey. And collectively as a team, there is a lot more we can do. But shout out to Thomas Partey in his 66 minutes, 95 pass percent accuracy, 67 touches, 14 final third entries, 9 ball recoveries. He's intercepted the ball 3 times, 2 chances created, 1 assist, and he committed no fouls. So Partey shows how much of a good player he is for us, and hopefully he can stay fit. In terms of Newcastle, they failed to score in 8 of their last 10 games against us, and we've won 16 of the last 17 against them, people. And interestingly enough, our last 9 goals against Newcastle have all been netted in the second half. We're statistically one of the lowest scorers in the final 15 minutes of games. Like you saw, we at least we scored in the last 15 minutes yesterday, but there's something to be done there. And also, we're one of the lowest scorers in the league when it comes to scoring goals in the first half. As you can see, we're with Newcastle and Sheffield United when it comes to the fewest goals scored at home in the first half. So again, there's a lot of work to be done. At a point, we had 12 corners, and we've only found, we've had 12 corners in whatever, a grand total of 12 corners, and we found finding a teammate out of 76 attempted into the penalty box. So I don't know what to make of that. I think something's not been copied and pasted there. We already know Aubameyang once again. He's so good, it's there twice. He done his thing. Partey completed 55 of his 56 passes in that game, and obviously he made a game high of 3 interceptions, and he got his first assist. So it was a good game. It was a good performance. We did what we need to do. We firmly go marching on, people. There isn't too much to be said in that regards. That's all for another video. But yeah, people, we did what we need to do. We go marching on. That, can we break down low blocks quicker is something that we need to do. But, 3 points, unbeaten, clean sheets racking up. We're going into a tough game of run of games now again, in no order. We've got the Wolves, the Villas, the Uniteds, the Southamptons, the Leicesters, these sort of teams, from now until, the end of the season, but from now until March, our fixture list is peak. So with all due respect to Newcastle, but similar to Brighton and West Bromwich Albion, you need to take 3 points off all of these teams, to give yourself that insurance going into these other clashes. Not that any game is easy in the Premier League. So there's a lot of positives to take, a lot of positives, a lot of good performances from the boys. There's some things we can obviously work on, mainly on the first half, but it is what it is. It's happy days. I've enjoyed speaking with you guys, people, but in relation to my tactical review or tactical analysis of this game, that's all I've got to say. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. It should be in the bottom right hand corner of your video. I'll probably be doing live streams and all of these things, so make sure you're always updated and looking across Deluded content. You know, today is Tuesday, so it's been Deluded podcast day. When games are played on a Monday, we go on a Tuesday. Check out the DG podcast, the Deluded podcast. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on Anchor, and the rest of it. There's content for days. So yeah, people, please make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and do the rest. More importantly than that, please stay safe. People, DG, I'm out. God bless. Back again soon.